Hey guys, how is it going? So today I have an awesome and highly requested foundation review for you guys featuring the Tarte Clay Stick Foundation. Yes. So this has been getting a lot of attention on social media. They sent out a really cool kind of PR package to all of their influencers, and so I've been seeing some really positive reviews about it. I'm excited to try it out for you guys today and give you guys my thoughts. I'm not on their PR, so this was purchased by me, not saying that other influencers' reviews weren't truthful in any way, but you know, this is just going to be a perspective of an actual consumer, I suppose, today, right? So I'm really excited to try this. This is supposed to have a natural finish. It's supposed to be a nice kind of creamy formula, medium to full coverage. It features their Amazonian clay, which is supposed to be kind of really skin balancing. So if your skin is a little too oily, it'll kind of neutralize that a little bit. If you're too dry, it'll add a little bit of hydration. So that's kind of the basis for a lot of their products. So I am really excited to try it, especially because I don't know what's wrong with me, but I haven't tried any other Tarte foundation before, even though they get such great reviews. So this is going to be my first experience with a Tarte foundation. So this foundation claims to be a 12-hour foundation. I don't have that much time to be wearing it today for you guys, so I'm going to shoot for 10. We're going to go in probably about 5-hour increments, so I will apply it in the demo, I will check in at the 5-hour mark, and then check in at the 10-hour mark, and we will see kind of how it wears and my thoughts throughout the day. I really do think it's the best way to do a foundation review, which is why I always do them this way, as you guys know who have been here for a while. So hopefully you guys find it helpful. Just an FYI, because I can't remember if I told you guys my shade during the demo, which I actually filmed a few days ago. I'm refilming this intro right now. If you follow me on Snapchat, you know what's up. My shade is medium sand, and it's a pretty good match for me. Probably currently it might be a touch too light, but the undertones are nice and warm, which works nicely with my sunless tan. I will, of course, as I always do, link the product and anything else that I use in the description bar down below for you guys if you're here to shop. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not a subscriber already. I would love to have you, and give this video a thumbs up for foundation reviews if you want more of them. If you love them, just do it. And before we jump into the demo, I just want to give you a very brief background on my skin. I am combination. I do get more oily in my T-zone, especially on my nose and right in between my brows, so that is a thing. I have a lot of texture on my skin. My skin has a lot of pores, little bumpies here and there. It's just, I've always had that. It's not a huge deal. It's fairly normal, but you will get a nice close-up of that so you know what we're working with. And I am quite dry on the lower half of my face, which I always say is kind of a good canvas for these foundation reviews, because you kind of get to see how it works on both skin types. And as we're moving along through the demo and review, if you have any questions or comments or thoughts or anything like that, please leave them in the comment section down below, and I will be here to answer them for you guys. Now let's get into the demo. Alright you guys, so I'm going to start by priming my face using the Ordinary High Adherence Silicone Primer. I've really been liking this lately. It's really kind of basic and simple, not too silicone-y, not too heavy, kind of sinks into the skin really nicely, and I feel like it does a good job. So I'm going to use a little bit of this on my face. Alright, so now for the foundation. Packaging is really cute, as I probably talked about in the intro. My shade is medium sand, for those of you who are curious. And it's a pretty good fit for me when I have a sunless tan, but I used a different sunless tanner today that's more olive. I use the Saint Tropez Ultra Dark. Is that what it is? The darkest Saint Tropez tanner, and I'm looking a little olive-y, which is good, but I don't know. We'll see if it works with this foundation, eh? So I'm just going to start with half of the face so you guys can see, you know, a side by side. I'm just going to do a couple swipes. It's probably more than enough. And I'm actually going to try blending it in with a beauty blender. Oh, and right away I can see that it is working pretty well with this. I thought it would be a fail, honestly. When I used this before, as I was kind of testing it out, I was using a brush and that worked really nicely as well, like a kabuki brush. Actually, this one here, I was using the Morphe E44. I love this guy. Okay, I would still say that's a pretty good match. Works really nicely for me. So you can see kind of a side by side. Let me move my lights. And before and after, it does have a nice, I would say medium to full coverage. You could probably build it up a little bit. I still see a little hint of, you know, spots where I have them from old pimples. I started using my lactic acid treatment again for my skin. My skin's kind of going through a purging process, so they're those little like white pimples. So anyways, that's what's happening with me, but I love the coverage of this. This is perfect for me, and it feels really lightweight, so that's nice. So let's go ahead and do the other side. It doesn't seem as though you need to work super quickly with this foundation. Feels like it stays pretty creamy for a bit, so I don't think a beauty blender is a terrible way of applying this, which surprises me. I feel like generally stick foundations are, you know, kind of thicker in consistency, and this one really does glide on. Feels very velvety when it's going on, which I love. And it doesn't dry down, kind of mattify and get kind of thick and almost immovable. Is that a word? So you end up with like lines on your face, or, you know, it's not completely even. But this does not do that. It blends out really nicely. Boom. Okay, so I'm really impressed with this so far, which isn't a surprise to me. But the last time I was wearing it, I didn't wear it both times for a very long time. So the longevity test is going to be, you know, the kicker here. But it looks really nice and smooth on my skin. It doesn't look very heavy. It evened everything out. It's not sinking into anything or clinging to anything weird. I don't really have, you know, dry patches right now or anything that's particularly dry. I've been using rosehip oil on my face morning and night, and I've been loving it for the lower half of my face. So there's that. That's a positive, I guess, but not so good for a foundation review. I would like to see that. But overall, I'm really happy with it. I will kind of zoom in and give you guys a close-up. I will turn down the dimness as I always do, so you can see actually what the texture looks like without the blurring effect of all of these fancy lights, right? So you guys can see what it looks like really close up, as if someone were getting this close to your face, which is never welcome. But I'm doing it for you guys. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Looks really nice and smooth. You can see a couple, let's see if I can point to them because I'm looking in my monitor and trying to aim. A couple of spots shining through right here, which I'm sure you could build up or color correct before, but for me, I don't like a ton of full coverage. I like a little bit of my skin to shine through, so that's not a negative for me. Forehead here, so you can see it's not yet settled into my fine lines of my forehead or anything like that. And then here are my pores. Pretty good. Alright, you guys, so I'm gonna head off camera. I have some other tutorials and things to film, so I'm gonna do my makeup, do some filming, and I will check back in about 5 hours. I'm going to try and wear this for about 10 hours today. So let's see, right now it's just before 11 o'clock, so I will check back at 4. Is that right? And let you guys know my thoughts and see if there are any changes, and then again later on in the evening. So I will see you then. Alright, you guys, so we are here. It's about 3:30, so we are a little bit shy of our 4-hour mark, but I thought I would do a quick check-in with you guys because I do have to take off for a moment. Right now, we are looking pretty good. Oh, you can hear my kids in the background. I'm starting to get a little bit shiny on my nose, my forehead a little bit, on my cheeks even, just a little bit shiny overall. But I don't notice anywhere actually breaking down. One thing I do notice is that it looks a little bit cakey on my upper lip and my chin area, which are the two areas that are kind of like the most dry, and my skin is kind of the most textured in those areas. So there is that. So I'm guessing that maybe if your skin is on the more textured side and you are more dry versus normal, this may not be for you. And that's just kind of a guess. So I would say if that's you and you haven't seen any other reviews on it thus far, check out someone with dry skin and see how they felt. Because right now it's just a guess. So yeah, but so far so good. Not much to report. Still looks really nice, I would say. I'm happy with it so far. So I will again give you a quick close-up so you can see what's going on. I did use for concealer the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I set it with the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder, and then I filmed this makeup tutorial, which will be going up the beginning of next week. But there was so much fallout with that palette, I actually had to do another little bit of a layer of concealer, just like a very fine amount, and some more powder. So I don't know, I feel like it's not too cakey in that area though, to be honest. Yeah, not so bad, but if you notice any cakiness there, it's really just because of that. Just kind of judge this area here, and my forehead, of course, because nothing crazy was going on there. So without further ado, I will give you guys a close-up, and then I will be back to check in about 5 hours. Now you guys just get a close-up of my severely overlined lips. This is what we have so far. I would say it looks pretty good. Not so bad. You can again see the coverage. It's a quick shot of my forehead area, so you can see the coverage there. You can see a little bit of kind of shine coming through there. Alright, you guys, I have made it to 8 o'clock. I'm an hour shy of the 9 o'clock 10-hour mark, excuse me, but I'm starting to notice some stuff happening. So part of the reason why I need to get this makeup off my face is in all the areas where I applied the NARS concealer that I talked about before, it is really starting to kind of cake up and lift. So I think the combination of those two products together really aren't a match made in heaven. I don't know if it's an ingredient or the texture or what have you. They just are not looking good. Every single spot where I have that, it looks cakey. In hindsight, that's probably why my upper lip and chin were looking a little iffy back in hour 5. So there is that. And I say that because everywhere else looks really nice. Here still looks really smooth and nice and not cakey at all. My forehead, same thing. The only thing that is bugging me is the highlighters from the Carly Bible palette. It just looks like chunky glitter on my head. But the coverage still looks pretty decent. I would say it's probably gone down to about a medium, so the coverage has kind of lightened up a little bit, but it still looks really, really nice. My shine level is actually pretty good for this point in the day. Probably better than most of the foundations that I have, to be totally honest, with the exception of probably my, tried and true Estee Lauder Double Wear. I'm excited this is happening because I feel like through all the foundations that I've tested, even though I found ones that I've liked, this one I think I'm going to really, really like. I'm definitely going to keep it in the drawer where I can reach it easily and keep testing it out. And if I do a favorites video in these upcoming weeks and I'm still loving it, I will throw it in there and kind of update you guys on any additional thoughts that I may have. So overall, I think it's pretty good for combination skin. I feel comfortable recommending it to you guys if that is your skin type, and probably if you're oily as well. I don't know about dry, just because I noticed the iffiest spot was on my upper lip. That's actually a very dry area for me, and it has a lot of texture. So I would just say, as I said before, check out those dry skin reviews and see if it's something that you think would work for you. Of course, Sephora is great about doing foundation samples. I'm sure even though it's a stick foundation, you can go there and get yourself a sample. And I always recommend doing that, especially with high-end foundations, because these aren't super cheap, $10 things from the drugstore. You're going and spending $30, $40 on a single product. So definitely do that. Give this video a thumbs up if you guys like foundation reviews. Leave any questions or comments down below in the comment section. I would love to hear from you guys. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not a subscriber already. I would love to have you here and be part of the fam. I love you guys so much. much. I will leave all of my links down below for you guys, along with links to shop the Tarte foundation. I got you. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.